Okay. Okay, here we go. So I gotta make 2 more. I thought I timed it out, so I had enough. I guess not. Alright, well, I've gone over by a little bit, but that's fine. I gotta work on my Hank Hill impression. Okay, let's slow this down to, like, ×2 speed. So it actually looks like the limitation over here is iron plates. Which is probably entirely because you're not getting enough iron. Well, the easiest fix I can think of is turning on hella iron speed. We should probably turn off speed hacks entirely. This is hard to maneuver. See, speed hacks literally defeat the purpose of games like this. Kind of, sort of. I was mostly just doing it so I wouldn't have to wait for that one resource chain. Really, are all of these T3 already? I guess so. Because, yeah, I don't want to put together a whole factory. So, the reason why I'm hand-making the, some of these resources, at least, is because... Here, I'm just gonna tear that up for a second. Oh, these are Mark 2s. Mark 3s. Okay. Are we good? It straight up feels like the resources are just disappearing into the ether here. I might need to get that splitter really early on. Yeah, let's do that here. Let's see. But yeah, it's the alternative is I either speed hacks or I stand around in a in an area just handcrafting something for like 20 minutes. Oh. Did I? What? Oh. Right. Okay, we want it like this. Yeah, I realize that, like, yeah, it's a little bit against the spirit of the game, but it's just like, do you guys really want to see me handcraft it all? Because I'd rather handcraft it all than rebuild my entire base for something that I might not immediately use. If that makes sense? Like, there's a very real possibility I was going to... there's a very real possibility I'm going to redo my entire base setup almost immediately as soon as we hit the next tier. And I'd really rather not waste all of my time working on that when, you know, I could work on some other things. Because, like, who knows what resource chains I'm going to be looking at almost immediately as soon as we hit the next tier. Approaching on another's clearance. Bleh. Oh, I can't afford. I don't have enough bars. Right, I was supposed to stack up on a bunch more of those. Let's see, do I? Yes. My inventory is so full. I need a little bit more. Let's see. What the? Oh, God, did I make 2 of them? I stacked them on top of each other. I didn't know you could do that, actually. Okay, so we want to do 5. Is it? It's over here. Yeah, one thing I should probably do is actually convert a lot of these to raised belts, just so I actually have some room to maneuver. Conveyor belts is too long, because this way I could potentially like walk underneath it. I might have to do this with some of the other belts as well. Okay. So hopefully this will split the demand a little bit. I was kind of hoping I could avoid doing this along the way. See, you missed upgrading one of the conveyor belts for T3. I mean, it straight up doesn't matter. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only part that really mattered to speed up was this one, and even then I don't think it's changing much. I'm also honestly not sure which location where. No, these are all upgraded. What are you talking about? What are you doing? You're going to lose your mind over something. At least pay attention. I could be wrong, but like I'm not seeing it. Let's see, on the right, running parallel to the smelters. What? You mean for the actual iron bars? Dude, who cares? Like, okay, I haven't upgraded this stuff yet, but like, who cares? These things don't even need to be fast yet. Yeah, okay, so that's the one. But, like, it doesn't matter. It's so backed up, like, it doesn't change a thing. You know, this one here, it matters a little bit more, because it's not as backed up. I'm really confused about the speed of some of this stuff. But yeah, it would have mattered if it was one of the ones that was going faster and slower. Oh, you can look at the lights on the sides of the belts. Oh, yeah, you totally can. That's cool. Let's see. I'm not even really sure if I want the E3 stuff. Okay. Might as well undo that one, replace it. Really? These absolutely are conveyor belt Mark IIs. Oh. I see, I had the wrong one selected. I'm not even really sure if this matters. Well, no, actually it does. Because we don't need these steel beams yet. But what we do need is actually the reinforced iron plates back. this actually works out really well for me. Let's see. I might as well actually speed this up while we're here. Seeing as people are talking about the whole Epic Games stealing your data thing. I mean, at this point, it's straight up like almost every country is stealing your data. The US government, the Chinese government, even to some lesser degree, European governments and stuff. I know Russia, for example, steals and wheels and deals with a hell of a lot of, you know, data that they probably shouldn't get their hands on. The problem is, like, we're in this, like, weird society at this point where technology has far outstripped our government's ability to, like, deal with, or more per se, a lot of, like, governments, European, American, and even Chinese, straight up, like, don't have a handle on the tech. A lot of the people doing all the legislating are much, much older than, you know, we are, and so they don't actually straight up understand it. And so, like, everybody gets super up in arms about the whole Epic Games selling your data thing. That was the latest scandal, and I don't know, that's like kind of weird old hat news for me. Why is one of these so much more backed up than the other? Let's see, but they're not stealing things like passwords and bank info. Oh yeah, no, they totally are. Everywhere is stealing that kind of information. Though, the Epic Games launcher is not doing that. There's not actually conclusive proof that it is doing that. It's just accessing small files. But also, I mean, if we're talking about Chinese stuff, they actually straight up are putting, like, microchips in phones. They're putting, like, microchips in phones to spy on your data that, you know, not even the, like, companies, you know, doing the designs, you know, intend to put in there. So, for example, like, if you buy a Samsung phone that was manufactured in China, there's a very real possibility that, yeah, there's actually a microchip in there that shouldn't be in there that is passing your data somewhere else as well. It's not even like a Huawei thing. It's straight up just like any tech in China, any tech manufactured in China has a very real possibility to have been compromised. And it bugs me a little bit when people get really up in arms about, you know, one thing, because that's the only thing that they know. And the frustrating part is, like, this is something that's been going on for years. And unfortunately, until, you know, the world kind of warms up to the idea of, like, yeah, they're kind of just taking your data, we're going to be in this society of, yeah, people are just going to be stealing our shit. And until I think governments actually sit down and understand what, like, data security is, and, like, how these things are important, and how, like, there's a very real possibility that, yeah, 10, 20 years from now, the whole world's gonna kind of, I'm not gonna say it's gonna, like, Y2K itself to death, but, like, I mean, I think it's demonstrably proven that the US, Russia, China, and whatever have been mucking around with various elections throughout the world. And, like, the whole, like, stealing your bank account thing, yeah, okay, that's spooky. But I'm honestly more worried about the kind of greater implications of a lot of these things beyond just, you know, getting access to my bank account. Because oftentimes they're not going to just steal your money. What they're going to do is profile you and then convince you to vote against your interests, or, you know, turn you against your neighbor because your neighbor likes Star Wars Episode 7 and you don't. Like, dumb shit like that. It seems so petty, and yet that's kind of how it's turned out. It's really weird. And it's really frustrating, like, God, what was it? I don't like Star Wars Episode 8 at all. I thought it was a garbage movie. And it frustrates me a little bit, because apparently there's actually quite the, I'm going to call it a disinformation campaign, or who knows what you want to call it. But effectively, it was a thing where effectively people trying to sow dissent were actively, you know, trying to pit different groups against each other, over just this stupid movie. I mean, I'm not exactly going to say, like, Gamersgate and stuff like that, because I think some amount of that was just, like, legit angry people, but it would not surprise me if there aren't people more or less sitting there being like, how can we make the internet hate itself more? How can we make, you know, people that would normally agree with each other hate each other more, so that there's kind of this, like, division? And, you know, there's a lot of people that actually stand to profit from making everybody hate each other and so on and so forth. And I guess whenever I, like, hear everybody getting super up in arms about the Epic Games thing, it almost feels like, well, you're not wrong, actually. Like, yeah, it bugs the hell out of me that Epic Games is owned 40% ownership, I think, is Tencent, which is, like, spooky. But, man, they have people everywhere. I mean, it's straight up like a thing. Yeah, that's what 4chan does. Duality and opposition. Yep. What else is the other thing? Is Episode 8 out? For Star Wars? Yeah, that was the Last Jedi. Also, thank you, Paintrain48, for the sub. Let's see, what else was there? I mean, there's tons of things. Politics aside, I think there was, like, a huge campaign specifically to get, Democrats super riled up at each other over, like, the Hillary versus Bernie thing back in the 2016 election, which had a very demonstrable effect of, like, you know, dividing the vote so heavily that, yeah, she lost. And that's spooky, because, like, people should be able to think for themselves, but they don't. You kind of end up with this, like, awkward... Oh god, I need 500 of this stuff? You end up with this, like, awkward world where, like, half the opinions you're even looking at are false. And half the companies that you're supposed to trust are doing the wrong thing with your data, your votes, your money, even. I mean, it's not uncommon for various articles to come out about, like... Oh, what was it? Actually, I mean, a positive is, like... I think we're seeing some, like, rulings that cops can't just pull you over and, like, just take your money in the US anymore. It was called... Oh, God, what was the term? It was a weird, stupid-sounding term. I don't remember what it was. But effectively, they would pull you over and then arrest your money. That's a ladder? That's hilarious. And because the money, you know, the money couldn't defend itself, obviously, because that's ridiculous, they could just take it. It was theirs. And because they'd already confiscated the money, you can't really sue the cops for it back. Yeah, civil forfeiture, there's the word. Which is ridiculous. And, you know, you'd think cops are supposed to not do that sort of thing, but no, turns out it's legal for cops to rob people, as long as it's civil forfeiture. And it makes me sad, because it's like, yeah, the world shouldn't work this way. Why does it work this way? You know, we shouldn't have to worry about, you know, getting into an argument with another person online. I mean, okay, online might be a bit of a touchy issue, but, like, you shouldn't have to worry about whenever you get into an argument with somebody online, you know, is this person here actually arguing in good faith, or are they just arguing with me here to get a rise out of me, / like, I guess even more so, trying to influence me by making me upset. You know, providing false articles and all sorts of things like that. It's messy. And so, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a defeatist when it comes to the whole Epic Games thing, but, like, it feels like such small beans compared to, like, everything else I run into. And meanwhile, in Australia, they just blocked 4chan and Live Leak, which I think is good. Like, I know people go like, rah-rah, censorship is bad, but I think we do need some level of, like, some level of oversight of, like, this place is actively just, like, a test bed for, you know, well, this is a community that specifically, you know, caters to white nationalists. Like, that's, honestly, free speech is nice, but when your free speech is eugenics, I think that's time for you to go. Oh, right, I gotta go get some more iron rods here. And, I don't know, it makes me sad, and it makes me scared for the future, actually. And that's usually why I, like, try and focus on nice things. It bugs me a little bit that I have to talk about it when playing potentially, you know, one of my favorite games of all times. It's just, it is kind of important. And I don't know. I hope the world gets better. I mean, it feels like my generation is, for the most part, is better. Every generation is better than the last, kind of. I don't really like my parents' generation that much. I find there's a lot of kind of mean people there, but that's maybe just because that's what I've been exposed to. Imagine if one day YouTube was blocked because of a single video. Yeah, that's kind of a one way or another thing. With YouTube competitors, most of them don't have any accountability, and it's hard to get them to do anything. With YouTube, I mean, it's been proven time and time again that YouTube will bend so far backwards for external powers, interests, and so on and so forth. Let's see. I'm just gonna dump probably all of them off. I can make more. We're at the halfway point. I don't think I'm gonna make it any further here. But, like, a lot of YouTube competitors straight up just don't have any accountability and don't respond to, say, like, DMCAs, for example. And so, yeah, it really is those reinforced iron plates. What's your problem? Is it the screws? No, it's just slow as shit. Well, I guess I should probably go get my power things. I should probably go get some slugs. No wonder you're in your parents' generation. I don't think so. I'm only 28. If your parents are... I guess your parents would have to be 40-something. Maybe. Like, really low end on 40. Which would make you, like, either really young or your parents... Well, yeah. No. I don't know. Okay. So that's going to be a little bit faster. I don't know about the screw production here. You wonder I'm old enough to be your parent, and your parent 51. I'm assuming you're 51 years old, or... I mean, because admittedly I come from a family where every aunt and uncle, well, not every aunt and uncle, several family members I know had kids at, like, 14. You're 19, your mom's 43. That's a 15-year age gap. I think she's Gen X. Right? What is the millennial era? Because I'm terrible at listing this one out. I just know that whenever people complain about millennials, I laugh because I'm one of them. Let's see. Yeah, 23 to 38, so a little bit off. But, no, I get your point. Let's see. So I guess I might as well bring up the age range. So 1981 to 1996 is the millennial generation. And I know half of these are going into storage, but I do need them for storage-related purposes. The main thing is just, like, these get crafted so slowly. Honestly, I should probably, seeing as this one bottlenecks, let's take a look at this for a second. Yeah, okay, let's take this one out. This one can use both. Because this one's absolutely, like, maxed out for now. Still gonna take forever, though. And at this point, actually, this thing's starting to get slow, which is good. I mean, ideally, what I'd like it to do is actually cap out, so let's just put it there. Yeah, what we need is 12 per minute, sort of, coming in. Oh, God, this is gonna take forever. And it's midnight. I've been playing this game for 9 hours straight. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, there is. Because I think I'm gonna be playing more of this tomorrow. I should save. This is gonna take forever. Forever. See, that's why time hacks. We could do that. Do we want to just time hacks for a little while? Yeah, let's turn on some time hacks and watch it. Yeah, so it's still not keeping up with the production that well. Let's just watch this for a little while. Because, I mean, honestly, the alternative is... yeah, I mean, screw it. Seeing as we've got it automated, I'm just going to let this go while we wait. And I might go make a sandwich. I'd like a Reuben. I'm pretty hungry. Yeah, let's go do that. Oh, I guess I should probably finish it. Finish my thought about the whole generations things. I don't like comparisons very much since I'm 1 year from being and whatever. And so I relate to people 2 years younger than me, more than those 12 years older. I mean, obviously, generations are stupid. I am wildly different from my brother, and my brother's generation in school was wildly different from what I grew up with. His friends all grew up with, you know, League of Legends. I grew up with Counter-Strike. It seems like that would be a silly thing, but that actually does inform quite a lot culturally. And it's interesting to have stupid labels for 15 years. Like, I barely can understand, like, a lot of the, like, 80s kids, you know, I guess the nostalgia for the SNES and a bunch of, like, 80s culture stuff just doesn't matter to me. I wasn't born then. I wasn't even a baby yet. And so, generation labels are dumb, and they're usually a good way. Anybody that uses a generation label seriously is usually somebody that's wildly misinformed and just wants to hate on a younger generation just because. I don't know. Anyway, it's all dumb, the world's scary, and parents are stupid. Yeah, that's about where I can go. Anyway, I'm gonna go make a sandwich. And then let's launch this and see what the last tier of tech is. And then we'll come back and actually work on that stuff later.